I'm so glad you could join me today. Let me just stand on this side. Um, I'm so glad you could join me today. Today we're gonna do a nice little interesting painting. Um, that maybe involves like a cabin and somewhere where you could stay in. Um, Let me run the colors across the screen that you'll need to paint along with me. While you're doing that, let me tell you what I have all over here. So I have a 16 by 20 inch canvas, pre-stretched, double prime, and with 2 layers of white gesso so I could pick up the paint better. I have my brushes out, my palette, but I didn't add any liquid white or all of that stuff onto my canvas. I have the oil to the side, and I thought we could do the painting today. So let's get started. Hopefully by now they ran all the colors that will be needed to paint. As you can see, they'll be run across the screen in the same order I have them on my palette. Now, let's get started. Some of the paint has dried up for me, so I just have to break it up a bit. So I'm just tapping a little bit of blue. Just a little bit of phthalo blue. It's been a while since I've used Prussian blue. Thin out that blue with a little bit of medium. Just tap it into your brush. So I have the palette here. All I'm doing is tapping. And you'll get that look on your brush. Can you see it? You could probably see it. That paint all over the brush. Let's come up here and just put in the sky. Something light. All I'm doing is just sort of like X marks going down and down. But it's easier to do it faster. Just tapping more paint into my brush. Okay, just a little bit more oil medium. And just run it across. And just tap it in your brush and just get crazy with it. Now, I want dark corners to really bring attention into the center. So I'm going to tap in a little bit of phthalo blue, and just to darken it up a bit, I'm going to add a little crimson, alizarin crimson, but I want it more to the blue side. The crimson is there solely just to darken it up a bit. And you could scrub on that paint. You need, for the sky, you need very little amount of paint. Other things, you'll need quite the bunch of paint. And it's important to be able to know when you need more paint and when you need less paint. Just trying to blend it out a bit. Now, I'm going to clean my brush a bit. Just running it through some oil, water, and soap. And I have a bucket on the bottom to rinse it out. So just squeeze out the excess. And I know I haven't had the chance to fix my second angle, but as soon as I do, I'll have it right back so you guys could see it again, how I clean my brush and all that. Okay, so now let's get a 1-inch brush and let's take it right through some titanium white. Let me just, there's some dried up paint there. Just pull it through one side, one direction, and it'll kind of, how should I say it? Circle one side of your brush or whatever, and just going in circles. Just keep that brush moving. Don't let it stop moving. Okay? Now, I'm gonna add a touch of bright red, just a touch, and go right into titanium white. And let's pop in another happy little cloud that lives right there. Gotta have some nice little clouds that just float around in there. Okay, now I'm just wiping my brush off on a little rag and come up here, and with the corner of the brush just blend it. You're gonna blend the bottom of the cloud. You do not want to touch the top. Lift it up or fluff it up. You lift it up, you're not pulling up straight. You're pulling like if you're doing a little C almost. And just go across. And that's simple. You have yourself a nice little sky with clouds. Now, let's go into a fan brush. Oh, this paint dried up, but just break up the top layer and it's reactivated. Let me add a little touch of oil. Okay, and let's put in some distant little trees. Doesn't really matter there. What matters is in the center. And right now it's almost like I'm just blocking in color. Okay, load up your brush a bit more. Just tap and pull down. Tap and down. Okay? Simple as that. Now, let's go into the 2-inch brush that we washed earlier. Make sure it's pretty dry. And just pull upwards. To make it look like sharp, distant little pointy trees. Okay, and just like that, you have distant little trees. Now, same dirty fan brush, run it through some mountain mixture in cadmium yellow. This time I want it a bit more firm though. Oh wait, I forgot to just use pure mountain mixture just to, how you call it, just to put the base color on, because every tree needs a little base color. You can't just put on a highlight. So mountain mixture, load up that brush really good with a lot of paint, as you can see on my brush. Now let's come up here. You gotta decide where you have to decide where couple little trees that stand out. And I'm just tapping it in. Maybe here's a big one. We'll start with that and we'll see if I need to add more. With the corner of your brush, just tap. In order to do this, you need lots of paint. And you would need more paint if you were to use a 1-inch or a 2-inch. But the 1-inch and 2-inch are great brushes to paint evergreen trees when you're planning to make them huge. If you're planning to make them not too big, I suggest you use a fan brush, but it's all up to you. You could use a 1-inch. That one came out a bit too wide, but it's nature. Everything doesn't have a specific look. Some look different than others. Just tapping it with the corner of your brush. Just like so. Beautiful, beautiful. Load up your brush every time it starts separating. So just by tapping with the corner of your fan brush, you can create some evergreen. Simple as that. Let's go into a little bit of cad yellow, some mountain mixture as I mentioned before. Load up your brush. You could choose how dark or how light you want it to be. This is your painting, but just a suggestion. Evergreen trees are usually darker. They're not too bright of a color tree, but it's up to you. It's your painting. That's a pretty dark green. It's gorgeous. Maybe later I'll add on a little extra highlight just so it could pop out a bit more. See, the benefits of not putting liquid white or anything, I could put my hand where I haven't painted on yet without having to worry about getting liquid white on my hand. Just tapping. One more tree that lives right around here. Well, we already put the base of it, but the highlights. And you could change it if you don't like the shape of it. With your highlights, you could change it. And I think I'm gonna add a little extra highlight just to sort of say the sun's hitting it. Just showing where the sun kind of kisses. So the sunlight's coming here. So I think for this tree, it would be somewhere around here. Oh, that's still too dark for what I'm trying. Okay, there we go. That's a bit better. And then just repeat it. Okay. Do the same over here. Just tap it. It's just a nice little tap. You don't have to put much pressure into it. And there we go. We have ourselves 4 bigger trees that stand out just out there. So just rinsing out and cleaning my brush. It's important you guys clean your brushes. Very, very important. Now, with my 2-inch, I'm going to tap it into some mountain mixture. I tend to hide the palette from you guys for some reason. And I think there's some land just living right there. You know what? I want it a bit higher. There we go. You can change it. This is your painting. You do what you want to do. Now let's come up here. I want some land right around there. Maybe this one's high up there too. Now, before I forget, I'm gonna go into a little bit of phthalo blue and titanium white. Just phthalo blue, titanium white, and just block in a basic color. There we go. You choose where this water goes. Water and clouds are one of the freest things you could possibly see. Water flows different directions, clouds float different ways. That's why I don't like to sort of trap it, I could say. And just scrub it on. I'm gonna use a little bit of oil. Just a little bit. There we go. I think there's a pond here that just wants to relax, see the daytime, see the nighttime, just be there basically. Just scrub it on, and just like that, we're in business. Now let's go ahead, let's highlight the grass, tapping in cadmium yellow into my 2-inch, both sides, and just tap it, tap it. I want this bright grass. It's the time of the year. You just gotta make up these stories. Well, you don't have to, but it helps you. Puts you in, like if you were to be in that picture or in that painting. Usually, I like to make up some stories about it. You know, people think painters are crazy, and that's good. That helps us get away with it. There's nothing wrong with that. I embrace it. Now, let me clear up a spot on my palette. Got so many stuff going on here. Let's mix it up, see what color I get. Oh, perfect. A green color, and I need a brown color. So I'll mix up a little bit of alizarin crimson into that mixture. Just to mix up a nice little brown color. Okay, just a little bit more crimson. Oh, that's nice. That's more to the reddish side. I'm actually gonna use the small side of the palette knife today. And just scratch in some dirt. Just it lives out in the corner. Just almost like if you're trying to smudge it. Okay. Now I'm gonna put that paint to the side. I'm gonna take a little bit of that brown and run it through a little bit of white. Oh, that's too light. That's somewhere that, yeah, there we go. Gorgeous. Let me just marble it up. Let's come up here and just add that highlight color. Something like so. How much time do we have? 22 minutes. Damn, time really goes by fast. And just separate some of that dirt. Just like so. Okay, let's come up here. Same fan brush I used for the blue. I'm gonna run it through some white and just add some what seems to be some water. Okay, now let me put that lighter color to the side, that light brown. Now let's go ahead, tap on some mountain mixture with the same dirty brush, and maybe this time it just goes from here to here. Maybe like so. Okay. Do the same for the other side. It truly doesn't matter how much, or not how much, doesn't matter how you put the paint on. It just matters you have that paint on. That's all that matters. Let's highlight that color. Just by tapping. It sort of just blends in. Maybe a little bit of bright red just to make it a little slight orange. Oh, that's gorgeous. just so it could stand out a bit. Okay, just like so. Let it blend in. Okay, now that we have that, we can go ahead. I think this house would be pretty big. It's a pretty big house. The reason why I scratch off the paint is to have less paint on there, but since there's no liquid white, it's already less paint. When I'm doing houses or cabins, I like to think about it like when I'm doing mountains. Put a little bit, scratch it off, and just blend it out with the brush so the highlights can be easier. That's how I like to think about it. Just like so. Okay, now I'm gonna grab a 1-inch brush and just blend that color in. Remove the scratch marks. Just following the angle. This wouldn't be real life. Real life, it would take days, weeks to do a cabin. And I do it in a matter of seconds. Here on canvas. Just let the paint graze. Okay. I'm gonna mix up a bit more lighter color. And just let it graze. This is a big old cabin where people could stay, rent it out, be right next to nature. Something like so. Okay. And maybe a little bit in here. Let's get some white. And just lightly, just to give it an extra little boost of highlight. Just like so. And a little bit in here. You gotta think where the light hits. Okay. Now, I'm going to a little bit of mountain mixture. Cut a roll of paint. And just put a big old door. Okay, just like so. Scratch it off. We're gonna shape this cabin and just go back at it with some highlight color. Be honest with me, guys, in the comments down below. Let me know. You guys prefer to see everything I do whether it takes a bit extra time or just cut it off and I do it off camera. I don't know. I just wanted to see what you guys think. Maybe there's a little cliff here. But yeah, I don't want to hide anything from you, but I don't want to keep your time too much. Okay, with the 1 inch, just pull and scrub it on. Just scrub it on. Get tough with it. We're almost done with the painting, I think. Okay. Just let it graze upon. This is just that brown color with white. I'm gonna start doing more paintings, starting with the black canvas. Those are nice illusions you could do. Okay, now let me step back real quick just to sort of see it. Okay, I think I know where I'm going with this. Well, I kind of knew, but just wanted to see from a distance. It's come up here, and maybe this land comes out here. Maybe it even has reflections. Just scrub it on there. Get tough with this paint. Tough with the paint and brush. And maybe here. More reflections. Just scrub it on again. Okay, now, same dirty brush, cadmium yellow. And just highlight. Just like so. Just tap it into your brush, both sides, so you have a good amount of paint in your brush. And just tap it. Before I forget, let me do some reflections. Okay. Load up some more paint on my brush. It takes a while with loading your brush constantly, but eventually you get it done. Now, we can't leave it just like this because it needs some more water here and then the waterfall. Pop up some little duders, some water here. Okay, and last thing I'm gonna do is add a little bit of dirt. Just really scrub it in, put it in. Okay, some of that brown color. Just make it look like some dirt. We have to have some land to support. We have to have something to support our land. Not all this would come, boom, flying right down. I don't like it just a straight line, so I cover it up a bit. But I think that's it for today's painting. Today's painting was certainly an interesting one. Yeah, I think it was a good one. It teaches you how to do layers upon layers, just like I believe it was my live stream. But yeah, hope you enjoyed today's painting, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care, my friend. Goodbye.